Does science rule out the possibility of a human soul? The claim has been made multiple times in recent years. In this video, we'll take a look at one recent proponent of that claim and consider 3 reasons why we should be cautious about the notion that science definitively rules out the possibility that human beings have a soul. Before we jump into the arguments, be sure to like this video, subscribe to Theology Project on YouTube, and then leave a quick comment and tell me whether or not you believe in the human soul and why. Do the arguments from science seem persuasive to you, or do you have other reasons why you want to continue believing in the reality of the human soul? Leave a comment, let me know what you think. The most recent defender of the claim that science disproves the human soul is Professor Brian Cox from the University of Manchester in the UK. Check out the link in the description below to an article that summarizes some comments he recently made on the Joe Rogan show. Full disclosure, I'll tell you my view on the issue. I consider myself a holistic dualist, which means that human beings consist of both body and soul. The essence of human being isn't lodged with either the body or the soul, but in the union of the body and the soul. So the idea is that to be fully human, we need both body and soul. The body is material, the soul is immaterial. The soul is not the essence of human being, and the body is not the essence of human being. And so a bodiless soul isn't a full human being, and a soulless body would not be a full human being. This is holistic dualism. Again, there's some links in the description if you want to learn more about that position. Here are 3 reasons why Professor Brian Cox and others like him have not changed my mind. Number 1, the physical sciences are not equipped to rule out metaphysical claims. What does that mean? If the soul is immaterial, if the soul is not a physical reality, then it cannot be ruled out of existence as a possibility on the basis of the physical sciences. Physical sciences are equipped to make observations about the material world, things that are made out of matter, atoms, and subatomic particles. If the soul is not made out of atoms or subatomic particles, if it's not made out of matter, then the physical sciences don't have the resources to tell us whether or not the soul exists. So it's just a category confusion to say that the physical sciences, that physics rules out the possibility of the soul. The soul is a metaphysical claim, it's a theological claim. Physical sciences can't tell us about metaphysics. Number 2, the way Professor Cox's argument is summarized in the article below makes it depend on unproven assumptions. So consider this quote. The article says, "There is no observable force, the soul, that interacts with the human body at the subatomic level." Immediately, questions arise for me. Why should we think the soul is an observable force? This depends on the analogy, and this is stated in the article, that the soul is a force like gravity or electromagnetism, but those are forces that we can observe through the standard practices and methods of the physical sciences. Why should we think that an immaterial soul should be an observable force at all? Why should we think an immaterial soul interacts with matter in a way that's analogous to or similar to gravity or electromagnetism? Like, that's an assumption about the soul, but it's not a proven assumption. And that means the argument that Brian Cox offers is unreasonable. We just don't know if the premise is true. Number 3, the claim that science rules out the soul is an example of what C.S. Lewis called chronological snobbery. Chronological snobbery is the uncritical acceptance, Lewis said, of the intellectual climate common to our own age, and the assumption that whatever has gone out of date is on that account discredited. Folks like Professor Cox want us to accept their claims uncritically without asking whether or not the assumptions are demonstrated or whether the assumptions are proven about the way they think about the soul. They're the scientists, they're the arbiters of truth, and therefore we should all just uncritically accept what they have to say. Never mind the fact that literally billions of people in a variety of cultures and religions for most of the history of the world have believed that human beings have, in some sense, a soul. To simply write off the vast majority of the human race as being wrong about that, uncritically and without clear arguments that are methodologically sound and reliable, is simply a matter of chronological snobbery. Instead, let's have a little chronological humility. Let's consider the fact that we may not have all the answers yet. We may not have made the discoveries that are critical to these questions yet. And the reality is, we may never make a discovery that tells us definitively whether or not human beings have a soul. So a little bit more humility is most likely in order. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like it and subscribe to Theology Project on YouTube. Don't forget to leave a comment and tell me your view on the human soul and how that relates to scientific discovery. See you next time.